welcome to my presentation for the web programming coursework. The objective of this presentation is to provide an explanation of the project systems and user design, go over some of the tools, methods and decisions made during implementation, do a short live demonstration of the website itself to highlight some of the main functionality, then go over some of the test data, and finally some self-reflection. The first design diagram is this high-end sitemap, just showing the different pages or functions and how they will relate to one another. Some decisions here are the products page and the product type pages. These are actually the same page but show different products depending on a GET request. This is the same with reading individual products, both here and in the search page. Also, combining the sign up and login pages for both authentication levels of user. This means that once a user has created an account and logged in, the login page and sign up page are no longer accessible. Instead, the account page is displayed. It also means that the higher authenticated users have the same options as other users, plus more with product creation, update and delete. The next design diagram is the entity relationship diagram for the database. Again, there are a few decisions here in the user. I put a role attribute to determine the authentication level of a user. In product, I have stock, on sale, and sale reduction attributes. Having a stock level meant that when an order is created or updated, the relevant product stock value also had to be updated. It also meant that stock could affect the design of the site dynamically by marking a product as out of stock when the stock attribute hits 0. On sale and sale reduction allow another way for a higher authenticated user to affect the site dynamically by having conditions for if a product is currently on sale, which affect the design of product pages. One last decision is to have the user address split into 4 sections in the user table, but also have a delivery address in the order table as one attribute. This means the user address does default to the delivery address for an order, but allows the user to set a different address should they choose. There was one small problem I ran into with this design, which is that order is a MySQL keyword, so can't be used as a table name, so I had to change it to purchase instead. When it comes to development methodologies, I mainly utilised an iterative approach to implementation, meaning I would design a single page or piece of functionality, implement it, then test it, then move on to another. This also ties in with the test-driven development. Although I couldn't write proper test beds, I would manually test each piece of functionality as I was going along. With the programming paradigms, I leant towards procedural, mainly due to it being what I'm more comfortable with, although I did attempt some object-oriented programming design. The data-driven design I spoke about earlier within the systems and database design, with certain pages being the same page but displaying different content based on the data they receive from the database. Some specific methods or functions from PHP that I used were sessions. I used sessions both for the shopping cart and the authentication, as well as confirming a user had higher authentication. Now, sessions do have a security risk in the form of session hijacking, so to mitigate this, the function session regenerate ID is used on every page and for every script, so the session ID should always be changing, making hijacking more difficult. I used both POST and GET requests in different ways for different purposes, but in general, POST was used for create and update functions, and GET was used for read and delete functions. I used routing in 2 different ways also. One way was to stop users from getting to pages they do not have authentication for, and the other was so that pages were responsive. For example, if data was updated or deleted, it appears to the user to change the page dynamically. So here is some sample data from the database. Here we have the user table with some of the users. You can see their passwords all hashed over there. If we go to purchases, obviously they have the order ID and user ID, delivery address. If we go to the actual products, there's quite a lot of these, obviously for every single product listing. and then finally if we go to order line, you can see just this is the link table with just the quantity, and you can see the constraints just here as well. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of the website itself. So straight away we have this homepage with this slideshow here and some of the sale items here. We also have this nav bar across the top. If I just quickly switch it to the mobile version, you can see how the nav bar has kind of disappeared. The search button is still there, but the bar is gone. The nav bar here has actually changed to this drop-down menu, and then everything else on the page is still there, it's just sort of more vertical. Going back to this, we'll just search something very quickly. So we'll just search Fen for Fender, and you can see all the items that we can scroll through the different pages. So let's try and actually buy some things. So let's say we want this one, and then if we go to amplifiers, and maybe we want to order them by price. So I'll grab that one, and then if we get some strings and order them by brand, you can see these items are being added to the basket up here. Let's say that we can't have more than 4 of these because of the stock. Let's say we want 2 of these, and we'll add those 2 there. You can see it added 1 thing, but it will save the quantity, and we'll see that later. And then perhaps we want some of this sheet music here. If I then click on the basket, you can see everything is added here in the basket with a grand total, but it does say that you must log in to this account to place an order, but let's say that we don't actually want this bit of music here, so we can just remove that item for now. And then if we click here, it does take us to the login screen, and then here we can create an account. So if I go to create account, you can see we have a form here. Just show you what it looks like if I try and go forward without filling anything in. So just going to quickly fill in these details, and we'll show you what it looks like if I try and fill in something that is not an email address. It will tell me, will give me an error, and then wipe the email address. So you have to at least put something in that looks more like an email. Again, with here, just going to fill in the details with something I made earlier. The only thing that has to be correct here is the postcode does have to at least look like a UK postcode code. Password, again, obviously these passwords both have to match, have up and lowercase letters and at least 1 number. Okay, then we get the confirmation screen saying this account has been created, and click here to log in. So here we put in the email address and password that we made earlier, and it takes us to the account page. Here we can edit the details. You can see we currently have no orders because it's a brand new account, and then here we have the ability to log out, change password and delete account. If we go back to the cart now, we can see that we have the button for place order. If I click that, it will take us to this screen where we can see we have a shipping address, which is the same as the address we put in earlier. So we can, same sort of rules apply, so if I try and place something without, so something missing, it won't let me. So I'll just put that back in, and then click place order. Okay, get a confirmation screen again saying your order has been placed. If I click here, it takes us back to the order screen, and now the order is now there. With the order now here, obviously you have the ability to cancel the order and edit the order. So if we click edit, again we can update the shipping address. Once again, if I try to update it with something not filled in, it will throw an error. So I'll just put that back to what it was before. And then we can actually just remove items from here as well, and it will update. It does give me a prompt just to make sure that that's okay, and it will update here. If I click this button, it says, "Are you sure?" If I click it, it will actually update. If I go back to the account screen, you can see that has updated. And then I can obviously delete the order entirely. It will give me a prompt. If I select OK, it does go. It goes back to having no orders. Just to show you the editing details, I can just update the telephone number here to something else. It does say, "Are you sure?" And I click the button. It does throw us back to the account page, but I click on the details and you can see it has updated. Okay, so if I just log in as someone with high clearance, okay, you can see they still have the orders page and the details page the same, but if we go to the options page, there is this extra button which is manage products. So straight away here we have a list of all of the products here, and we also have this add new product button. So if I just go through here, and we're just going to add a sort of quick test item. Here we have the sort of on sale and price function. So if I click here, we get the option to put in a reduction amount, which will reduce the total price and mark it as on sale. Again, we have the stock here. If I choose an image, we're going to choose this sort of placeholder image here that I have prepared, and then select one of the categories from the drop-down menu and click submit. And once I do that, it does give me a confirmation page showing that it's been created, and I can actually click view, and you can see that that's what the page looks like. So just to confirm, we go to our accessories page, and there it is. You can see that it is on sale, and it will actually appear on the front page as well as a sale item. If we go back to the products, and here we click edit, we can change it to not be on sale, and obviously some of the other details as well. And click update. Okay, and again that will remove it from the front page, but it is still here. And then finally, of course, if I find it, I can just delete it. It will give me a prompt. I click OK, and then the product is gone. On to testing. As I mentioned earlier, I completed the testing iteratively as I was going along, meaning that a lot of the tests were repeated several times. Instead of showing each individual test, I organized them into a summary. So I tested a majority of the website products and features can be used by an unauthenticated user. When it came to form inputs for both create and update functions, I tested that valid details would allow the function to be completed, and invalid details would stop the function from being completed. I also tested the routing, making sure that an unauthenticated user could not access the account page, for example, and that only users with higher authentication could access the product management pages. On reflection of this project, I think it went quite well. All the major requirements were fulfilled, as well as the system features. As I mentioned earlier, the only outsourced resource that I used for this project was W3 Schools as a library. I believe that the best part of the work was the robust user experience. I made it very difficult for a user to make a mistake they can't fix or end up in the wrong place with no way to get back. I think the weakest part of the work is the programming code itself. Although I made an attempt at object-oriented programming in the way I have classes and I instance those classes, all I do with the objects is call functions. There is no inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, or polymorphism happening. Meaning that all the classes achieve is a bit of code reuse. Overall, the part I found the most difficult was predicting, fixing, avoiding, or providing feedback for all the potential errors or exceptions a user could experience whilst using the website. Well, that's the end of my presentation for this project. Thank you very much for watching.